I'm getting so much better with these transitions. Whoa. I got a little echo. I forgot to mute my actual Facebook Live. I'm almost getting there. All right, well, I got some co-hosts waiting to come on. So first, let's bring Massimo Dadonger up.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Mas? And now we want to get Christina on. Mas, we missed you yesterday. We'll talk that in a second. Let's get Christina up, though. Mas, you see what I've been up to? You weren't around. The shows went quick yesterday. I had time to make intros for Christina. Nice. I got to get one for you. I got to make one for myself.
So what's up, guys? What's up, Chris?
How was your day yesterday?
Absolutely amazing. I'm actually sanitizing because I just got in. It was nice being on the fire truck, roller coaster of emotions, obviously, for me. Every time I step foot into that fire truck, what it represents to me is a lot more than what it represents to the average person that sees it. The fact that, the 11 members of Rescue 5 wrote in on that on 9/11 and never came home. I always try to respect that. And they were, they responded to the Trade Center, right? And I don't want to keep going back to 9/11, but it was like, they did what they had to do on 9/11, and I felt that, as the president and chairman of the Beatty Fund, I did what I had to do in that rig with JoJo and his son and Dave yesterday to do what we had to do for our community. So it kind of was a happy, sad, thing,
And how many stops did you make? 20-something?
We made 20 stops on Staten Island to all the firehouses. We then went to Jersey City to help OEM, and then we did the 4 police stations.
Nice.
That's nice. So you went to Jersey City, too. You went in New Jersey.
We went into New Jersey. I said it last night. We repaid a 19-year-old debt. And what I mean by that is that on 9/11, Jersey City was one of the first municipalities to offer mutual aid to the FD and to the city. So they sent guys right across the river because Jersey City, literally, it's right there.
Yeah, they get there quicker than probably us.
Yes, they came right across the river. And I said that in the press release to the people of Jersey City. I said, well, we're paying a 19-year-old debt. And why is that? You guys had us on our darkest day, and we got your back here.
Right. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Joe.
Maria. Joe says good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Joe. Again.
Should we put the what grinds my gears up for that? Is Chris acceptable or unacceptable?
Chris is all right. I like Chris.
Fine? Oh, you like
it? Christina is like the third name I'm typically called. It's usually Frisha, Chris, and then Christina.
Frisha, Chris, or Christina. All right. And Moss is now called Moss.
Moss.
I don't grow on the side of a tree.
How is everyone, Joe? Yeah, we're good. Another day in quarantine. I don't even know, it was today Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday. We just had an executive club meeting and board meeting. That was fun. Good to see people we haven't seen in a few weeks. We got to watch a live look at Massimo stocking the milk, rearranging the Snapple bottles in the refrigerators, putting the pasta out. The mozzarella looked very good. Now, how busy are they? Are they busier than they normally are, or are they slower?
Busier than they normally are.
Busier. Isn't it amazing how certain businesses, right, actually are able to thrive during this? It's great, though.
Well, yeah.
So it's not, Mike, and I want to see how many viewers do we have, because I want to go on the record here, and I want to
5 million. We're not that many yet.
So I'm going to share it to my personal page. So we'll try to help to get some more viewership. I think it's important that everyone understands that this is not good. And what do I mean by that? This is not good that any businesses is closed, right? But one thing I can say in the supermarket business, pork store, they can't keep up with volume. And it's not a supply issue. It's a trucking and logistic issue. Mike, at the end of the day, you line up jobs. Your guys, Jimmy and the crew, go out and do gigs, right? I do,
Yep.
do fill-ups and installations. Can you imagine, if you normally can do one installation a day, right? Well, how many service calls can your Christina and the team fulfill remotely?
So service call, right? So remote work is different because we handle anywhere. We could handle 30 to 40 calls a day.
Remote. Okay. Imagine trying to do 400.
Oh, I get it. And then everyone gets overworked, stressed.
And the worst part is that you get a Massimo Dodana, who I don't know if I'm your biggest client or smallest client, but I'm a client. That now I'm getting treated like shit, or I'm not getting the service I normally get because a guy that used to use ABC IT is no longer servicing him. Now he's calling you for your services. You're shorthanded. You can't service the people that have been with you before this pandemic. And now I'm getting terrible service because you're overwhelmed, but you're just trying to do the right thing by the community. But I don't give a shit because you're my guy. And this is what's happening. And I say it time and time again. I'm not knocking anybody. I am just going to make a general statement. If everyone does a little something, we make a big change. Everyone has their part in this. Mike is an IT guy. We do not need Mike and his team on the road right now. We need Mike and his team to help keep us doing this. I am an entertainer. There's nothing I can do. Maybe I can put guys in trucks to deliver supplies, but it's easy to do. So everyone does a little part of this. Yesterday, what we did with the Beanie Fund was hard. It was logistics. We put ourselves in harm's way to do the right thing by our community. And the bottom line is that it would have been easier to maybe just drop ship supplies, but maybe they're not going to get there for a week or two. I felt it was important to get the supplies and get them out there. Sometimes it's harder to do the right thing. We always take the hard road. Partners in Sound, Beanie, Pro Show. It's what we know. Thanks, Jacqueline. It's what we know. We don't know how to just, all right, just do this. It's easy. Just do that. It's easy. No. What's the problem that we face? Let's squash the problem. Let's eliminate the problem. There's no problems, just solutions. That's just the way we are.
Right. And look, and like you said, everyone's different. And it was absolutely amazing what you did yesterday, and I couldn't do it. Like I love being the guy in the chair, being here, and this type of, because it's invisible to me, I would be too afraid to go out there. I'm stricken with fear when I go to the supermarket that like for the next few days, and that's just me. So I love being the guy behind in the chair and being able to keep businesses running. So yes, everyone's different, right? And I have no problem, being stressed out, working hard, doing everything I can to help a business. And, it's different, right? We're working late. We're doing what we need to do to get people up, but it's definitely different. Where you have that mentality, you want to run out there and be on that front line. And that we need that, right? Without that.
See that, Mike? That's the door of the fire truck that my father-in-law drove in on 9/11. He was off. He responded. He lost his life doing it because that's his destiny, whatever you want to call it. To me, if everyone's running away from the problem, I want to run towards it. And maybe that's who I am. That's what was instilled to me and my parents, and my family, being a hardworking Italian-American first generation. Hard work. Just because it gets hard doesn't mean you walk away. You just work harder. Right? Take precautions, do the right thing. Was I scared walking into 20 firehouses? Yeah. I'm a man. I'll be the first one to admit it. I as much as I want to say I feel invincible, I do feel like Superman. The only time you'll ever hear me use a character reference to a superhero, do I feel like, hey, yeah, you know what? I got this. When I went home last night, walking into my doors, I could have brought the corona to my wife and 2 children. But the bottom line is that was a risk I was willing to take to do the better good for our society, because those first responders needed those supplies.
Right.
And at the end of the day, they can do a lot more good with those supplies. So right. I was willing to take that chance.
All the first, and we spoke about it, and all the first responders. Of course, you got EMT, medical doctors, nurses. it's amazing, right? This is what they've signed up to, and they're doing their part, and they're working their ass off to save lives. And then, but even like retail, like in the Montalbanos, the Joe Caramico who's working at Home Depot because it's considered essentials, and people are wandering around buying whatever they want. You know, that's super important, and thankful to them because they are putting themselves at risk. So I am glad to see that the Senate is trying to pass that act to give them additional pay. All essential workers who are working, I think it's like an extra $25,000 for this year. And I'm guessing that when I look at it, it's going to be fronted by the government. I don't think they're forcing the businesses to give the raise. It looks like the government is going to give first responders and essential workers basically a $25,000 bonus.
I think a lot of businesses have already gone ahead and started giving their employees raises that are working at this point. I've been seeing a lot of people writing stuff like, you know, my boss is actually doing the right thing, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of pushing in the right direction.
Christina, not to cut you off, that's Matt. Matt is a DJ. Matt is also on the front lines. Matt, what hospital do you work in? Because we're getting a lot of mixed information. People are saying that hospitals have supplies. People are saying hospitals don't have supplies. You know, send food, don't send food. Nobody can get this together. And it's frustrating for me as a doer, as my aunt said. What do these people need? You know, we have resources. NYU, okay. What do you exactly need on the when you talk about masks? So there's so many different types of masks. Right now, the K95s, the N95s, are very hard to come for. But surgical masks. Do you guys need surgical masks at NYU? Let's see if they'll respond.
There's right, because you have N95s, then you have surgical mask, and then you have
the PPE is important. But like in the hospital, some people are wearing goggles, some people are wearing the masks.
N95.
So Matt, unfortunately, I can't help you with N95s. If you guys needed surgical masks, I have I have some left over, and I'm able to get them. The N95s are going to be coming shortly, but we don't know how far away they are. They're actually on a boat on their way to us. But right. It's important, you know. That's the thing that we need to know. Yeah, exactly, Matt. It's definitely hard to find. But if you need surgical masks, if NYU needs surgical masks, let us know because we can definitely facilitate that. Matt, another question is, and I don't know if this is above your pay grade, no disrespect. Does the hospital have money to purchase stuff, or are they looking for a donation? This is another issue. Just keeping you guys updated on the situation at hand. Thank you.
You know what probably kills Matt? So I was on an IT forum the other day. It's like an IT business owner forum. And people were talking about making masks for first responders, kind of like the guy Mike Perina did with Assembly 3D, but in other states.
Yeah.
And the guy wrote on the forum, this is a bunch of bullshit. This virus is nothing. I have family who are nurses in New York City, and they're telling me they're being sent home with nothing to do because the hospitals are empty.
I don't believe that because I have family that are nurses and they're saying the exact opposite. Like, so
my blood boiled, and I usually like go past the trolls, and I just like unleashed in a comment because I was like, if you're not from New York and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, just get off.
Just get the hell off. Yeah.
Basically saying that hospital, you know, it's nothing. It's just being like, don't watch the news. I know nurses; they're being sent home with nothing to do. I'm like,
yeah, maybe if they're terrible at their job, also.
I think they're trying to cut corners due to them losing money. Matt said. I don't know if that's the case, and it very well could be because hospitals are for profit. I hope that's not the case, but I do know N95 mask and PPE is tough to come by right now. And then we actually have another guest that's joining us, Michael Papora. So I'm going to bring Michael on, let him get in the conversation.
Michael's from the insurance business. Hey, yeah. Mike.
Mass, how are you, my friend? It's been a long time.
Hi, Mike.
How are you, Mike?
Michael, how are you, my friend?
Good. You got any new TVs since I seen you?
Say again?
Any new TVs since I seen you?
Yeah, actually. What? You know what?
Before we get started, guys. Can we get all of our viewers to share our video to their personal page, make them public?
Yeah, definitely. On Facebook, if you hit the share, it lets you share it right to your post, and we get other people writing
And
this.
then you share it to be public. Share it to be public.
Yes.
So how do I do that? Go into Facebook?
Yeah, if you go on Facebook and you go to if you bring up the live view of us, but just make sure you click the audio off so we don't get echo. Up on the top, there's like the share icon. You could click that.
All right, I'm looking for it now.
All right, while you do that,
I'll make a video later and post it on our Facebook how to share our.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? Make a video, Christina. Send it to me because then I could broadcast it in the middle of the show, like kind of to show people how to do it.
All right.
So, Mas, I also brought on very quick for a minute, and I'll drop John off. But we were talking about how many tickets, my techs handle and everything. So, John is one of our techs on the IT front line, if you would, but in the comfort of his house with his clothes behind him. And I don't know what that purple outfit is, but he's got some purple outfit behind him.
That's the Donkey Kong shirt.
That's the Donkey Kong shirt. That's how you know he worked for a geek. He's got a Donkey Kong shirt. Moss, do you have one of those?
I'm representing the Woodbridge Wolfpack.
But John, we were talking about, in terms of, different type and being able, how many tickets we handle in the beginning of this, right? That first week when we went, when businesses started going remote, how busy were we?
I would say like the first week and a half, it was pretty busy. Like the first week and like the 2 days after that, it was pretty busy. A constant, people wanting to know how to set up their remote access and stuff like that. It was pretty constant.
See, so like Moss, what we do is in terms of the business continuity, we had them ready to go live with remote. It was all the back end was there, but lots of businesses never took the actual execution of logging in and getting familiar with it because it was there. And so we did a lot of more. It was like holding hands in the beginning, hey, here's how you connect in, here's how we just get up. But the infrastructure was there in place, ready to go. So it was very quick. We got them up. And now it's pretty much stabilized. Would you say we're busier or about normal or less than we normally are on a normal day when we're not dealing with Corona?
I would say it's slightly less than normal. It's not like we're not doing anything. We're still getting tickets. People are still calling in and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
you're doing a great job, John. I know we put tickets in. Well, if I got Mike on there, he just has a login to my computer because he doesn't want to hear me bitch. So he's logged into my computer at all time. But John, you've been an amazing asset and tool to the Partners in Sound. Our business has gone completely virtual, and anytime I've had to instruct my staff, you can't text Bloomy. You got to put a ticket in, and I know you're the guy in your. Thank you.
All right, well, John, I'll let you drop off. That was all. Yeah, unless you have anything else to say.
No, that's about it right now.
What do you have for lunch?
For lunch, I don't know yet. Probably cereal. same as usual.
We're starting to run out of food. People are getting boring now. They're going to cereal. All right, thanks, Sean. We'll see you later.
No problem. See you guys later.
So what's up, Mike? Popora, not Mike. You're Bloomy, Mike. You're never going to be referred as Mike. You're Bloomy.
I'm Bloomy now. So, Mike,
all good in the hood. It's been crazy day 837 of the quarantine. We're all dealing with it. It's it's a strange dynamic. I've had about enough. My patience is kind of running out. I want things to get back to normal. I don't like this new normal at all. I want to be able to help my customers like you guys are doing. Like it's challenges, but it's also presenting, I think, a lot of opportunities for, people to rise to the occasion and meet the challenge. You guys have been doing a great job with these live feed videos. I think it's really good just to, keep putting content and information and interaction. A lot of people are watching this stuff, and if for nothing else, it's entertaining, but it's also very informative. But to be able to see the familiar faces of your friends and your family and your colleagues, I think is important. So and thanks for inviting me on, Bloomy. I appreciate it.
Anytime. And now, for you to say you don't have the patience for this is amazing. Because you started, right? What was it? Over a year ago, that Connections 365.
365 Connections, yeah.
Every day, you tell us about that. What you did?
So I started a project on LinkedIn the day after Thanksgiving in 2018 called 365 Connections, and that was the hashtag 365 Connections. So what I did was I would take one of my LinkedIn connections every day for a year, 365 of them, and on LinkedIn they're connections, on Facebook they're friends. So, and I would just introduce that particular person to my LinkedIn audience. I originally did them, I was typing them out, 1,300 characters. And about, I want to say, introduction number 75 to 80, right around that range. It was right around February. So I started the end of November, Thanksgiving. And then in February, beginning of February, Don Diskowski from IFPG. Don is on Facebook. He may see this video. He suggested that this project would really translate well to video. So I did it. I made the transition. I'd never done video on LinkedIn, but I made the transition. I dove in at first, and he was the first video introduction. And I did that every day for a year. So I started with first introduction was Peter Maniscalco, who was an accountant, on Staten Island. A lot of you guys probably know Peter and his firm in Newark. Peter's my best friend. I've been with Peter for 35 years. He's the executor of my will. He's got keys to my office. Peter's my boy. So I started with Peter because we started together, basically, and I finished with myself. It was a great project, a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, every day for a year.
You didn't miss one.
Yeah, it takes a lot of perseverance.
Yeah, like I tried to do a 14 days sharing image. I think 7 days into it, I stopped. So that's amazing. That's talk about patience. Right? So when you hear you have patience, you did 365 days. I could not do that. I would definitely.
It was a challenge. I mean, there were days when I was struggling with it. And the thing is I never knew who I was going to introduce. So something would happen in my feed, something would happen in a world event that I would tie into one of my introductions and then go ahead and tape the video. The only one I knew for certain, there were 2 or 3 I knew for certain I was going to do. Peter, I knew I was going to do from day one. Towards the end of the project, I had decided I was going to introduce myself. And I said, you know what, screw it. I did 364 of these things. If anybody wants to be critical, do your own project. I'm going to introduce myself.
The last one, right? With your family with you.
Yeah, with my family. I did the last one. That was kind of the roundup.
And they were sick of it. You said if anyone, they were sick of you doing it.
They were, yeah. I mean, it became all encompassing. I mean, my kids would get a kick out of it because they'd hear me, talking to myself from the screen house or the kitchen table, and they knew they had to be quiet. And so there were a couple photo bombs. My wife was in the background a couple times. It was very organic and very natural. I mean, I did them in all sorts of locations. I did them in the car. I did them at baseball fields. I did them at my kitchen table. This is probably a familiar view. I did them walking in and out of the gym. I did them completely inebriated in the middle of the night, but I did it. It was a great project.
And Christine, I don't know, you probably didn't see him because you weren't with us yet at that point, but we're not talking 30-second introductions. He did 5-10 minute long videos.
Well, yeah, they were. I tried to keep them. 2 minutes is about the length that you really want to go in something like that. Shorter the better. I know for myself, I don't have the attention span, so I try and keep them as short as possible. But it was important to me to really highlight something that I learned about the person that made them special, that made them interesting, or that was topical for that particular day. So there were some really good introductions. Some of them fell flat on their face. It was a really interesting experience, though. I never knew what was going to come out of it, and I really enjoyed it. I've actually got another one that's kind of spinning around in my head right now that I think I'm going to launch pretty soon.
Another
similar to that one.
Year though?
I haven't decided. If I at a minimum,
Why go halfway? Go the whole way. Yeah.
You know what?
A decade.
No. The year was a grind, and other people have since then, they've done full year projects. David Bucinelli, who's an architect on Staten Island, Chris Gray up in Massachusetts, they've both done year-long projects, and they told me at the end, like, this was really hard. If at a minimum, if I do a new one, it's going to be every day of the week, maybe just not the weekends.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, Monday to Friday. That's probably a
Monday. It'll definitely, at a minimum, will be Monday to Friday.
Yeah,
The
do that.
weekends, I may not do it. So we have to see. But I've got something I don't want to share it just yet because I'm not committed to doing it.
Secret.
So look, I couldn't do it. I couldn't make it through 14 days. Someone I think could do it. I think Moss could do it. I think Moss, when he puts his mind to something, I think he commits to it.
Oh yeah,
Challenge.
and because Mass needs just one more thing to do. So I
I'm not a quitter. I don't quit.
He could see. I quit. He could do it.
Fuck, man.
I don't quit. I just forget.
I got to tell you the truth. I really, 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 really wish that I could just be like, whatever. I'm not going to the executive club meeting today. Oh, whatever. I'm not going to SIDC social. Oh, whatever. I'm not going to go see Bloomy talk about something that totally bores me. When I commit, I commit. It's probably my best and worst trait. It sucks.
All right. Do you want a free pass? Do you want out of this show? Is that what you're saying?
No. I don't want to do anything half-ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In for a penny, in for a pound, right?
Mike.
Yeah.
It's who I am as a person. And I always put myself second. It's never about me. It's about how I can help this one, how I can help that one, how I can connect these dots, how can I do this, how can I do that? And I just wonder, I heard something this morning, and it said, it doesn't make a difference what happens when you die. People feel bad, but life goes on. So just live for the moment. And on that note, my wife's calling, and she never calls. So I got to take this for a second. Hold on.
All right, good. So, Mike, so what is it, how is business for you? Are you getting new business?
So, for me, and I kind of wanted to parlay what Mass just is really, really powerful, I think. Mass is the epitome of helping people. With all of his charity work, Benny and just, you name it, the guy's he's right. Running 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yes, he can. He's giving.
And the executive club, there are those of us who are like that. We're just constantly in that mindset. For me, what's happening in my business right now, it's real challenging because by and large, a lot of these business interruption claims that, right now businesses are just shut down. What we're seeing in the industry is that there's not really a lot of insurance coverage. So I can't help people with claims. And I'm the type of guy that, when your building burns down, I show up and I'm helping. Like, I'm pumping water out of your basement. I was at a client's house early in my career. Their house burnt down. I gave them my credit card to go to a hotel. Wow. So for me, I'm having to find new ways to engage and to help. Hurricane Sandy, Superstorm Sandy, I was driving around with my chainsaw because I had no power. I couldn't help my customers. So I was driving around cutting trees off of driveways so that people could get in and out of their house. I needed to do something. I'm about ready to start volunteering with Meals on Wheels or something like that out here in New Jersey, just because I'm losing my mind.
Right.
So it's that kind of thing. Finding new opportunities to help my customers. What I've been doing, it feels kind of icky to be selling right now. It's
that weird line because you don't want to sell, but you also want people to know we're here to help you, and so I'm not trying to sell.
Exactly. And I, you've known me for years. I'm very consultative. I'm not a sales guy. I'm a nerd. So I want to educate and I want to teach. And if that leads to a sales opportunity or a buying opportunity, albeit, but for me, my lead is teaching and helping. And what I'm trying to do now is just block out an hour a day, an hour and a half a day, pick up the phone and call my customers. Hey, how are you? What's going on? What do you need help with? And that's helped me keep my sanity to a large degree. And and then responding to the customer needs and questions, because in my particular space, the professional liability architects, engineers, a lot of that business is still going on, especially the government related work.
Right.
So those firms are still operating. Granted, they may be working remotely, or so they've got those challenges, but they're still grinding away. My retail sector and my some of my Montessori schools, my daycare center customers, I've got a couple franchise systems. Some of those are shut down by government order, and that's just devastating, because there's nothing I can do to help these people, and
Right.
it's killing me. So I think this is one of those opportunities where when God gives you lemons, you make whiskey sours, because we're adults, damn it, and you find a new way to to figure out how to help people. We're always going to, I think, rise to that challenge and do that. So that's what I'm seeing, in our business. We're still coming along. The insurance companies, by and large, putting the coverage issues aside for a second, they've been really proactive in helping customers with their bill, delaying billing payments. I'm starting to see now some information I think is really interesting, and I think I'm going to shoot a video on this later, where some of the personalized insurance companies are actually going to start forgiving some premiums, so giving some rate credits, because nobody's driving their cars.
Yeah, so Allstate did that, right?
Allstate was one of them. Yeah. So I think, whoever's watching this, go on your auto insurance company's website and see if they're doing that. Because I think they're going to start doing that,
So guys, we did it. State Farm is one of the better companies for our industry. I'm not pledging State Farm's better than Allstate or Progressive. I actually suspended insurance. So my premium was about $2,400 a month for my 12 vehicles. I reached out to my agent, and we suspended insurance on 8 vehicles, and I kept 4 of them on. I kept a couple of my box trucks on. And basically, as long as I don't drive them, I was able to cut my premium down to about $1,100, $1,000. Yeah.
Did you have to send the plates in?
No, so that was the beauty of it. So I'm not going to lose the loss runs.
Okay.
So that was why we talked about taking them off the road completely, but then you lose the loss runs. And since I've been with the company for such a long time, and only
your history, yeah.
The loss runs, talk about the history on the trucks. So they suggested that, and I kept my newest trucks, the ones that I want, because some of my trucks are just liability, so it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah. Maria said Geico sent her a letter. And Mas, your insurance is pretty cheap. You clearly don't have Jimmy on your commercial insurance policy.
I actually have many of my drivers. So it's funny, State Farm, for my business, and I don't know what it is. They were my box trucks, my vans. I don't know why. Maybe Mike could shed some light on that. But for commercial, for what we do, they were half of anyone else. And I got 500. I got umbrellas. I don't have bullshit insurance.
Yeah, State Farm's a funny company. They've got a certain sweet spot. When they're good at it, they're really good at it. And every company's like that. Every company, yours, everybody's got their niche, their sweet spot that they like to work in. So State Farm for you is good. So I'm happy to hear that. And they're taking care of you, which is, for me, I think that's what all of our industries need to really be doing, is focusing on taking care of customers. How can we rise above and give that extra? So I'm happy to see that that's happening.
So you like to help, Mike, and you're calling clients and doing what you can. Are most of your clients aware and understanding about the PPP programs, the EIDL? Do they understand? So maybe the insurance doesn't cover them, but there's these grants, and maybe you help to educate them on that.
We've been disseminating a lot of that information through email channels. And we've been answering questions, offering advice. Again, that's that. So the phone call is basically, are you healthy? Or is your family healthy? How can I help? What questions do you have? What do you need? Some don't have any. Some need help with the premium deferral. Some need help with, understanding some of these questions on the grant projects. We just came out of, with the CARE Act, the paid family leave, transitioning from New York State to the Fed. So that was an interesting, kind of transition. People who were quarantined for certain reasons, there are like 6 factors. People who were quarantined from March 18th until April 1st qualify in New York now for paid family leave under their disability insurance carrier. Then as of April 1st, transitions to the Fed, which is done on a payroll credit. So now that transitions from an insurance standpoint to an accounting standpoint, because the accountants needed one more thing to deal with in April, right before tax season, right? Yeah. Now they're getting crushed with this stuff. So yeah, just trying to get as much information out, but also not inundate. I want to be respectful of people's inboxes, because you want the information to be really topical, really valuable, and not just crap. Because I know my email's blowing up. I'm just getting stuff. If I get one more email from an insurance company or anybody else telling me we're fully operational, fully staffed, and working remotely, yeah, okay, so the rest of the world is too. Don't bother me with that stuff.
That was like that second week. There was a meme. Everything I ever signed up for or did business with for 20 years, I know their whole COVID plan.
Right? Yeah.
More, Mike. I don't know if you saw my PSA. Did you see my video PSA that I put out week 1?
I don't remember, honestly. No, I probably didn't.
Mike, if it's okay with you, Bloomy, sorry, I like to actually show it.
You want to share your screen, or you want me to pull it up?
No, I'm just going to hold on. I'm going to restore it. So I couldn't take it anymore, respectfully, and it got to the point where, let me know when you're showing it.
Okay.
You good, Mike?
Okay.
Yeah, I see it.
So Bloomy, you good?
Go ahead. Yep, do it.
Mike, so I couldn't take those emails anymore, so this is what I did. Massimo Dodani here, Partners in Sound Entertainment Group. Even though your event may have been canceled or postponed, my team and I are working tirelessly to make sure that when it happens, it's second to none. But right now, it's not about us. It's not even about you. It's about those first responders, those men and women on the front lines that are keeping us safe. And for that, I want to say thank you. Because of you, the beat goes on.
Right now, the world is at a standstill, but there are thousands of medical professionals working tirelessly to keep us all safe. Thank you all. Because of you, the beat goes on.
NYPD, FDNY, EMTs, and all first responders are out there battling this disease each and every day. Because of them, we're able to stay home safe. Thank you to all. Because of you, the beat goes on.
Schools may be closed, but teachers are working remotely to educate our children. It's been a difficult adjustment, but you're doing a great job. We thank you all. And because of you, the beat goes on.
If we've learned anything from this pandemic, it's that when we come together, we can overcome anything we face. It may be tough right now, but believe me when I tell you, we will get through this. The beat goes on.
The beat goes on. The beat goes on.
That's great.
I couldn't take those stupid emails of everyone going, we're going to be here for you, or or this. I was like, you know what? Let me just, run a PSA and just thanking people for their being committed, and we're here for you.
Yeah, no, that was really well done. But you've got that artistic ability and the technology to do that kind of stuff, which is phenomenal. One of the things I was really in the onset, very low profile, very low social media. I wanted people to get, the last thing they want to hear from is their insurance broker. I mean, on a good day, I'm a nice guy and people like me, but they don't want to hear from me. I know that. I don't blame them. I don't want to hear from me. So I wanted to give people time to kind of acclimate and deal with first things first. And now that we're kind of in it and things have, kind of stabilized, I guess, for lack of a better example, now I'm really starting to proactively reach out. But that video was really good. Well done, Nas.
And you're doing, Moss, you're doing one a week, correct?
We're doing one a week, and we're respecting this. So, Mike, thank you for the compliment, but from a production standpoint, the quality sucks.
Well,
because we respected the social distancing, and to do this was hard. And
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be real.
I did it for 365 days, man. I know.
I'm trained not to look at the camera. I'm trained from doing a lot of the interviews with the foundation. I'm always looking at the reporter. I'm never looking at the camera. So
Okay.
it was hard to look at the camera. So it was. I'm gonna have to jump off, guys. Somebody's here hanging on the front door, and they're not stopping. So
All right.
just take me off screen for a minute.
All right, no problem. No, I hate that view. That's the view I like. Yeah. So it's tough, but yeah, the reaching out. I think we're at a point where I don't mind when a vendor reaches out to me just to see how I'm doing. I can't take the cold calls that I'm still getting from some of these providers that I was getting before COVID and all through COVID, and just every day. Like, come on, can you give me a break with the cold calls?
Yeah. Giuseppe Bonamo posted something yesterday. Giuseppe's he's an architect on Staten Island. He's part of the AIA executive board too. And I'm not going to shame the organization that reached out to him. If you want to search through Facebook or LinkedIn, you'll find it. But basically somebody hawking him for a renewal in a trade journal or some like. Really? How tone deaf are you at this point?
Right.
There'll be a time and a place for that. And right now is not the time or the place.
It's insane. And we're seeing it all. And I got certain vendors that I'm like, I want to block it because I can't take it anymore. Like, leave me alone. Like, I did have one vendor, like, I think it was week 1, right, Christina, that called to do a renewal. And it was like, I'm like, we're 1 week into this. What are you talking? Like, I don't know where we're going to be. You want me to commit to a certain number of endpoints? I was like, if we had this conversation 2 weeks ago, I would have committed. I go, but how do I know where I'm going to be on the other side of this if no one knows? And in the end, they worked up our pricing with me and said, look, we'll give you the pricing at that for the same amount where you are now. And because we understand, I said, all right, if you're willing to do that, I'll sign a 12-month commitment because I'm not expecting to go, but
right.
But it was like originally he's like, oh, I need you to commit to an extra 500 endpoints in this. I'm like, how can you ask me to do that? I don't know where we're going to be. I don't know where business is going to be.
Yeah.
We're week 1 of this.
I actually keep getting calls from someone that they keep following up on like a quote that we had sent out, like what's going on. And I it's the same conversation every time. I'm like, no one's like buying services right now. They're not even in the office. Like, they don't need these right now. Like, I will follow up if and when it gets to that point. But like, you don't need to call me. I know that this is outliving and existing. Like, it's just like, it's very uncomfortable to have the same conversation 3 times for the same answer, No one's buying.
All right. So let's dig a little more lighthearted. So Mike, I know you always post on Facebook. You like to cook, right? And you cook bread and all. So are you guys ordering in, or are you cooking a lot?
We are strictly cooking. We haven't ordered in at all. I don't order in on a good day. So, this right now, what's going on isn't going to get me to order in.
Really?
We don't order in. I like to cook. I'm a really good cook. I don't brag about a lot of things. I'm a really good cook.
Yeah.
So
you've been some bread that looks awesome. Can you just send me?
So the funny thing, bread is one of my things, but I like all disciplines. Like I make fresh pasta, I smoke and barbecue, like I do everything. So what happened with the reason the bread stuff, and particularly the bagels, my wife bought me lox. I love smoked salmon. Yeah, I mean, to me that's like one of my top favorite meals. Nice bagel, cream cheese, capers, red onion, tomato, and lox. So she buys me this lox for the quarantine, and we go in the freezer, and there's no bagels. So I said, shit. All right. So I said, I'm gonna learn how to make bagels. I got flour, I got yeast.
Wow.
and it took about 4 tries, and I got them to where I like them. I'm pretty comfortable with the recipe. I'll tweak it again, but
That's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I like to cook.
Too.
One thing I'm gonna do. My kids work at a restaurant, and they're doing the takeout. My middle kid is 20. He's 21 now. He's delivering, and my daughter helps assemble the meals. So they've been helping Victory Park Tavern in Rumson. They've been really good about trying to stay open and get meals out. It's a funny thing that I learned about this. You don't appreciate how difficult it is for a restaurant to have to put together pickup and delivery orders under a quarantine. So they've got to be closed by 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got a mass rush of meals that have to get out in a really quick period of time, where typically, it can be done over dinner service, but they're cranking out 50, 60, 70 covers in an hour so that they can get them delivered.
Right.
The chefs are losing their minds. Like, it's a real challenge for them, but they're doing it. The point I'm getting to is what I'm going to do. We typically also don't go out to eat a lot, but if I don't even know if, but either way, if I get this stimulus check, I'm going to totally spend it on restaurants and service-related businesses. I may go out and get a manicure. Not that I need a manicure, but I'll get trimmed and buffed. I mean, what the hell? But the point is to get that money back into the economy, get it back into the hands of people who haven't had any money. Get a really good haircut and another really good tip. I paid $40 for a haircut right before this thing shut down, just because I knew the guy was going to be suffering and not have any customers. So I'm looking forward to going out and being really generous when it comes to that. People do whatever you want with your checks. For me, I'm just gonna put it right back into the economy. I'm not gonna spend it on bills. I'm not gonna put it in the buy mutual funds. I'm just gonna spend it on stuff I typically wouldn't spend it on, and try and stimulate the economy a little bit. And as soon as this thing comes back and we can start doing things. Let me ask you guys a question. So I've been hearing a lot. We're apparently New York has now had more discharges than admissions, and we seem to be getting kind of sort of close to maybe the light at the end of the tunnel, not a train coming at us. At the same time, I'm hearing, the word allowed. We're allowed to go out. When will we be allowed to go out? Is that driving anybody else out there crazy, or is it just me?
So in terms of that, people think like allowed to go out?
I don't like being told what to do.
I'm with you. I don't like being told what I do. That's why I'm the owner of my company, right? That's why I went to work for myself.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Point, I understand that I'm not being told what to do. We're being told what to do to stop a pandemic. So I get more annoyed at the people who don't respect it and are out and about and there's so many people that are out there like this is their normal day, right?
Yeah.
So I understand, Home Depot. Home Depot is open because they're considered essential business because there's repair, right? We could be in quarantine and a pipe could burst or whatever. But what drives me nuts is the people that are at Home Depot because it's open, roaming around Home Depot like it's a normal day. Yeah. I love Home Depot. I want nothing more to go back to Home Depot and roam around. But now's not the time to roam around because you're not only are you putting yourself at risk, you're putting the workers who are there who have to be there because they are essential. So you roam around to look at tools and look at this and tiles. That's not stuff you need to be doing right now.
Yeah.
That's what annoys me. But I get it. I get the frustration. But we're being told.
And that ties into what I opened with, where I'm losing my patience.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I've had about enough. This closing the parks down and things like that. I like to, I go clamming right up the river from my house. And apparently now they've even closed down that. I mean, clamming and walking on the beach and surf fishing and things like that, you can't get any more social distance or physically separated from somebody that when doing those activities. And,
But the reason they closed it down is because the rotten apples, right? One rotten apple ruins it for the bunch. And, and that, in New York City, they tried to keep the parks open. And what was happening is people were going and playing frisbee
Yeah.
and football in groups, and 20 people walking at a time. Even to the point today, they're closing dog runs because people were taking their dogs to the dog runs and then congregating and talking. And
Right.
so the whole point is it's unfortunate, and I get it, right? Because that's something that you could be alone, but these people that just don't care. Like I'm seeing on my Facebook, people who are out riding their motorcycles together, and then they're posing for pictures together.
Yeah.
It would be different if you were riding your motorcycle and never coming close to each other, but then you're riding your motorcycle saying, I'm social distancing, and then taking a picture where you're all holding hands by your bikes. That you just got rid of social distancing. You're doing what they don't want you to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tough one, right? I just can't wait to get back to normal. Luckily, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I guess I look forward to Cuomo's 11 o'clock update. See where we are with the numbers. We've had 3 days in a row where we've been decreasing.
Yeah.
And the goal is if it keeps going like that, great. And it looks like if you look at the models for New York, and New Jersey's right behind us. You guys, they say, are like 2 days behind us. So we're pretty much in line with each other. Is May 1st, it looks like almost no new cases. That model is going to really flatten out down at the bottom. And that'll be amazing if we could get there and start to come back to some normalcy. Now, I don't think it's going to be an opening of a rush of the floodgates, right? They're not going to say, all right, it's gone May 1st, everything's back open. But I think you'll start to see people slowly get back to work. I think you won't see the movie theaters, you won't see concerts, you won't see that type of thing probably till June, July.
Well, there's so many logistics that are involved in getting those events back up. I disagree with you in one point, though. I'm very optimistic in the same regard where we saw the hockey stick kind of fall off the face of the earth when everything shut down. I think to a large degree we're going to see a hockey stick back up. Personal service businesses, restaurants,
haircut,
the movie theaters. I agree. I mean, nobody's been going to movies anyway. So that's an industry that's got its own issues on a good day. But I think you're going to see a lot of the service industries bounce right back. The food service industries bounce right back. The daycares, the karate schools, the yoga classes, the gyms. God, I can't wait to get back to the gym.
Oh yeah, I'm really dying on that one. Wait.
Yeah, I am. Oh, I'm. I try and exercise every day, every other day. A little bit of something. I have a hard time doing it at home. I've got some physical issues too. I've got bad knees, so I have to be careful about what I do. Literally going for a walk, and I can be crippled. So it's amazing if you use the right machinery, you can get a workout in. My daughter worked me out like 2 weeks ago, and I'm still recovering. But she's a gym rat. She just doing stupid things, and I was crippled for 3 days. My wife was yelling at him, "What did you do to Daddy?" So I'm really looking forward to getting back to just that normal routine. And I think a lot of people are looking to get their kids back involved, in their activities. We're hearing stuff now. Schools might be closed. Rumor, don't take me for it, but we're hearing something that schools may be closed in New Jersey for the rest of the year. So I think that's going to open opportunities for daycare centers and Montessori schools and things like that. Because the parents got to go back to work. Kids need something to do. They need something to do. And so I think we're going to see, a real pop in those particular industries. So I don't think it's going to happen slow. I think it's going to be drinking from a fire hose.
And I hope you're right, but I hope, and if that is the case, I hope it's done right and we don't have a second phase come right back. And that's
of course. Yeah. Well, the other thing, and hopefully there's science behind it, but as the weather warms, I'm not a doctor, this isn't medical advice, but as the weather warms, the virus isn't as effective.
Its RO rate decreases.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you look at Florida, right? They're higher humidity, they're higher temperature than us, and they'll still be affected. And their model shows May and June. So we're up above them, where our humidity is not there yet. We're lower temperature, and they're still being affected. So we're not in the summer months yet. So it's that tough part, right? The big thing is going to be testing, right? The antibody testing, that's going to help to know if you have the antibodies, if you can't be affected. It's going to be a new normal for a little bit. And look, and soon enough, time flies. We're going to have a vaccine for this, and we'll forget about it. And guess what? 15 years from now, we'll forget about it until the next pandemic happens. Yeah, and hopefully it's not for 100 years.
So how are you guys doing at home? Didn't you have another baby just recently?
So we have a 4-month-old now. So
yeah.
So we have our one daughter, Audriana, the older one's going to actually be 3 next week. So April 13th. So nice. I think that's Monday. I don't even know. That might be Monday.
I don't know.
Yeah, because Easter's the 12th. So yeah, Monday she turns 3, which that's tough for me, right? We had a whole birthday party planned for her. That's old, and how do you and she's 3, and it's starting to affect her. Like yesterday, she said, "Mommy, I'm sad. No one comes over anymore." And you have to explain to a 3-year-old, right? I try to explain to her about like, okay, well, there's people sick, and then she said to like my wife, she's like, "Oh, is Gigi and Pa feeling better? Are they still sick?" I'm like, "Oh," so it's that tough one. And then we have a 4-month-old, and we actually have doctor appointments today over Zoom. So the doctor is doing like checkups on them, 4-month checkup, and basically I'll be holding my daughter here. All right, how does she look? What do you want me to do? Here you go. But no, everyone's good. I am social distancing to the max. I try not. I only leave my house for the essential. Once a week, go shopping. That's it. I'm trying not to leave at all costs.
Yeah, I haven't been out either. The only thing I've done is I ran to my office on a Saturday. I use my laptop and I have a spare monitor. The monitor crapped out. So I just said, screw it. You know what? I went to my office. I got my 224s, my docking station, my keyboard, my mouse. Right. I usually work on my kitchen table where I'm here now, but I set up a table in the living room, a little folding table. It's kind of tucked off into the corner. So so I did that. And then I ran down to trade some bagels for some fresh eggs. One of my buddies has a hen. Yeah, he's got a chicken in his, he's got a hen in his backyard. Nice. And so we traded a dozen bagels for a dozen eggs. Nice. So, I know I'll be able to survive in the apocalypse. And that's been it. Otherwise, I haven't been out of the house. Yeah. I'm thinking about just, I just want to get in the car and drive for like 45 minutes south and come back, listen to a book, to
get out. Yeah.
Just to get out. I spent some time in the backyard, smoke a cigar every now and then. The weather's nice. I may go out and do that.
It's supposed to rain, right? Today and tomorrow, but it looks like the weekend is supposed to be nice again.
Yeah, it's beautiful out right now. It poured last night, but right now it's beautiful out. Try and get out as much as you can. But yeah, I haven't left the house. My wife's been doing the shopping. She went out this morning. She had to make a run to 2 stores. I'm kind of on edge when they're not in the house. I want everything buttoned down. I want to secure my perimeter, and I don't want anybody in or out. That's got me on edge too. So I'm looking forward to that.
Even like the packages, I'm on edge. I wipe everything down. I'm like, keep the boxes out. It's like, I can't wait to get back. I keep saying it's like when you have a cold or you're sick and you almost forget what it feels like to be normal. And then finally the cold breaks and you're like, oh my God, I could breathe again. My nose is fully open. It's not like one nostril is closed and one's open. I can't wait till one day I'm like, oh, it's normal again. Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So Christina, how are you holding up? You've been very quiet.
Yeah, I know. I get overrun and my voice. I can't overpower 2 men talking. Like I know when to pick my battles.
Hold on. Here we go.
God.
Here we go. Brian's Christina Gears. Everything.
No, I'm doing all right here. I'm definitely feeling the cabin fever like you are. I'm going quite stir crazy myself, but I was going stir crazy after week 1. So
yeah.
But it's kind of like weird because, before working for Mike, I was working like in an office space. But before that, I was working for myself for years and working from home for years. And, I did have the ability to like go to Starbucks or go to like the city to a co-working space and stuff like that. But it's really like, it feels so different this time being home and having to work home as opposed to like working from home when I wanted to. It's just like so different how much it compares and how much it really
goes back to being told it's like right, if someone like think of if someone told you not to do it, that's don't touch that. I gotta touch it, right? And that's where
it tells me what to do.
Look,
I just missed hanging out with people. Like I just miss like having Nick behind me to like roll around and just like complain at over something I saw on Facebook. And just like the social aspect really is like what's kind of annoying because I don't have like a lot of like in-person friends. I'm certainly not seeing anyone, and all I have around me right now is like my immediate family. So like it sucks, you know, like it really is kind of lonely.
It's tough. I've been experiencing that. You wouldn't know it. You know, most people who know me see me as being very extroverted, right? But the truth of the matter is that I've got very, very strong introvert tendencies.
Yeah.
And I have to work hard at being extroverted. It's something that I've got to keep doing. It's like a muscle memory thing.
Something you have to want to do. You have to want to get out there and like be social, you know.
And one of the things that I'm noticing, I say it jokingly, but to a certain degree, it's accurate, is that I feel like I'm going feral. Like I'm losing those skills, those social skills that I had, and being able to do this is very helpful. Having those phone conversations is helpful, but I can't imagine going out and networking again. And I know I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to have to do it. But
it's going to be different now.
Oh my God.
Everything is going to be different. And I feel like we as a society have to really like wake up our minds to the idea that things are inevitably going to be different for every aspect of life now moving forward. Whether we're all super paranoid or super just precautionary or just, you know, how we interact feels different. Like it's going to be different. And like, that's something that no one's talking about because no one knows what to expect. We're not there yet. But I feel like once we get to that point, there's definitely going to be a conversation for like how to adjust back to normal life, how to adjust to society again, how to adjust to going back to work, and you know, like
how to go to the supermarket and not be fear for your life.
Yeah, how to interact with like humans again and not think you're going to get sick.
Yeah. Well, that's and that's part of the thing that I've really struggled with, and kind of what I said with the allowed thing before is that we're looking at people who are outside and maybe outside of our close circle or our bubble, like they're lepers, like everybody out there is infected, and that's not the case.
Let's be honest. I look at my friends in close circles like that as well. I don't let my family over. I don't let my in-laws over. I go to get she made food for us. I go to the house. I told her to open the door, put it down, and she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Nope, put it down. Close the screen door." I got got the plague.
Yeah, I just that. I just may, once I kind of come out of it myself, I just may walking around hugging people. I'll probably get arrested or shot. But I think, there was that commercial where the guy would just, walk around and give, do you want a hug? Do you look like you need a hug? I may wind up, once I shed this, I may wind up being that guy.
I would probably not suggest that just yet. Maybe we need the vaccine.
Right? But think about it for a minute. I mean, and this is part of the thing that's annoying me is that we've allowed ourselves to be worked up into this frenzy, and at some point we're going to have to come back from it because the entire world is not infected. There are people who are sick. There are people. I don't mean to diminish that, but to that point. You look outside or you're in the grocery store and not everybody is a zombie.
The overall numbers, right? Population wise, it's a small percentage.
Yeah.
Which the scary part is it's invisible.
Yeah.
It's scary, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know if that hand you're shaking, if he has it and he's asymptomatic and he touched his face and now is shaking your hands and you put it there and the human, they said the average human touches his face 2,000 times a day. So that's what's great because we can't see it. We need to install black lights and just if you could see it, that'd be great. They're gonna be like, "Oh, that guy's got it. I'm out of here." So, look, we're gonna get back to the normal. It's gonna take a little time. I think it's gonna take a little time, but who are we? It's way above our pay grade. I don't think honestly anyone knows. No one.
Yeah.
We're learning as we go. We get more data, and as quick as this came, I've always said it. All of a sudden, it could mutate. It could be a much weaker strain and disappear off the face of the earth and not come back for 20 years. And by that point, we have a vaccine. No one knows. This is nature. We predict everything. We predict hurricanes. And what does a hurricane do? It turns and goes the other way.
Exactly.
And nature, this could mutate for all we know and change and disappear. Who knows?
Yeah. There's that saying, men make plans and God laughs.
And God laughs. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Right.
He's like, yeah, good luck with that one. You get ready for that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we're just over an hour. Anything you want to say, Mike, before we drop off?
No, I just appreciate the opportunity. It's been a great conversation. I've been enjoying, following you guys. I don't stay on for the full hour every time,
Probably
but it's been nice. It's an hour. But I appreciate the opportunity. I'm glad to see both of you. It was really nice to see Mas. Everybody stay safe, like we talked about. We're gonna pull through this. We'll come out of it, and then maybe we'll have we'll do a fundraiser. $1 a hug or something like that when everybody feels comfortable.
There we go. Sounds good. Well, thank you. Anytime you want to come, anything you want to share, let us know. And if you want to send me a link, I'll put in the Facebook feed though as well in the comments, a link to your business, how people can get in touch with you. And
Great.
any questions, and thank you for coming on. And then we'll be back at 3:00 with let me pull that up, midday with Mas. So thank you again, Mike. Christina, I'll see you later. And
Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Midday with Mas at 3:00.